The following podcast may take our lives, but it will never take our freedom! Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us on this episode of the Salty Nerd Podcast. We're talking Braveheart, another Mel Gibson directed movie. I'm joined, as always, by my fantastic panel of nerds. Matt Vader is here looking like the clown from Spawn. What's up, dude?
I feel like I need to throw some rocks. Let's throw a big rock a long ways and smash your brain with it. I don't know. What are we doing?
But can you do it when it counts?
I can. Probably not.
Judah's also here, rocking her own face paint. What's up?
Wow, look at you. I didn't know you did that.
Oh, hello.
Dang, you look sexy as hell. Blue face paint.
I swear to God, every single alcohol makes this guy horny.
I'm always horny. What are you talking about?
Candice is also here.
Horny.
Speaking of horny, Candice is here. What's up, dude?
Always ready to go. You know this. So this is probably the highlight of Mel Gibson week for me because this is his best movie, in my opinion. So looking forward to talking about Braveheart.
That's right, guys. We're going to talk Braveheart today, one of our favorite Mel Gibson movies. So stay tuned. We're going to break it down. We're going to have a lot of fun doing it. So join us. Thanks for being here. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to drink something, and then we're going to get into it. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, if you guys want to support what we do here, go to saltynerd.com/DC and download Dragon Champions and become a warrior of your own and free your own people. You can collect your heroes, upgrade them, put face paint on them, and go off on a war rampage and kill a bunch of people. It's a lot of fun. It's a great mobile game. We all play it here. Matt Vader over here is moving his way up the ranks, and Kadish is like master level 80. He's the masterclass dragon champion. So if you guys join up, type in salty in the promo code area. It gives you a little bit of a leg up, gives you extra character, a lot of cool things. And if you have questions, if you need help along your way, head over to our Discord app. We have a Dragon Champions chat room that is dedicated to helping people get started on their warring rampage and Dragon Champions. And we do appreciate the support. Those guys over there support us. We want to return the favor. All right, let's get into Braveheart. Jude, take it away. What's the synopsis?
All right, sir.
Or box office. Go ahead.
1995, Braveheart, rated R with a runtime of 2 hours, 58 minutes. This had a budget of $72 million. Guess what this brought into the box office?
Oh my God.
200 million, 250 million.
This was a huge movie.
Yeah.
I still watch this movie religiously at least once a year.
$1995.
$350 million.
$213 million. Yeah. This did all right.
It did pretty good.
Yeah.
Right on.
You ready?
Yes, I am.
All right. William Wallace comes back to his hometown in Scotland to grow crops and babies. He marries his childhood sweetheart in secret so that the English military won't fuck her. But when she dies at the hands of the cruel men who wish to bully the Scots into submission, he goes full Mad Max and takes his country back. Martin Riggs is just the right kind of crazy to rally his kinsmen into rebelling against the monarchy and following him into certain death for Scotland's freedom. For they may take his life, but they'll never take his freedom. Discuss.
Never take a man's freedom.
Never take a man's freedom.
Never. Because he puts face paint on and he kills people in a really heroic way.
I adore this movie.
Mm.
It's so freaking inspiring and good and fun and brutal. And Mel Gibson, like whatever his crazy eye face that he does in this movie works. Like there's a couple scenes where you get the crazy eye Mel Gibson and it's terrifying. Like I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that shit. Like it's scary. He's got that look down. But the revenge plot, you guys know I'm a sucker for like either if it's a husband who's in a revenge rampage or a rescue rampage, like either one, I'm in for the journey.
A roaring rampage
A
of revenge.
roaring rampage of revenge. I'm in for it.
Isn't Mullen beautiful?
Yes.
I love her.
She's gorgeous.
I don't know who the actress is.
Oh, she was in one of the James Bond movies
Was she
that
really?
we
But
reviewed.
she's just
No, that was Sophie Marceau. She was the princess.
She's so naturally.
Oh, that's who I'm thinking of,
Yeah.
She's such a natural, pretty woman. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, the actress that Vader's talking about is Catherine McCormack. She played Mel Gibson's wife at the beginning of the movie, who is tragically murdered, and which sparks off like his whole rebellion.
Oh, and it's such a cold murder too. Like they just throw her up on top of this freaking trunk and just like, this is how you repay my kindness. Like, fuck you,
Yeah, just
dude.
slits her throat.
Yeah.
Just no preamble to it.
Cold-hearted nonsense. And he got what he deserved. He did the exact same thing to him. It's just, it's weird to say, but this is a feel-good movie. Like, you watch it and you're just like, you
It's
feel
an inspiring movie.
inspiring. Yeah, you feel inspired to go and just fight for your own freedoms and stuff like that. I do have to say, I have a little bit of salt for it, and this is a new thing for me.
You have salt for
A
this
little
movie?
bit, a little bit.
Really?
Because I've gotten to know a gentleman named Charlie Allen from Scotland,
Okay,
who runs.
your best friend.
He's my best
Charlie
friend.
Allen.
Nice.
Okay.
He runs Combat International, which is a stunt choreography and behind the scenes battle scene guys that go out there and they make movies look amazing when they do fight scenes and stuff like that. These are the guys that you see in the background fighting in all these epic battle scenes and all these cool movies. And this was the movie that actually inspired him to start his own company because he watched this movie. And now that he's pointed it out to me, I can't unsee it.
Oh, well, there's stuff in this movie that's funny.
There's goofy ass shit happening.
During the first big battle,
Yeah.
there's the dude in the background at the end of the battle.
Yeah.
And he just seemed to
Yeah. Yeah. There's dudes when they do
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, when they do the wide shots and you see like, you know, you have your little pocket of heroes of the movie that are like doing their thing, but then on the outskirts of it, you just see dudes like just kind of like waving their swords around. That's the shit that Charlie pointed out to me, and now I can't unsee it.
There's several things during this movie that I call like bullshit. Like okay, so we're gonna skip ahead way to like the last third of the movie when he jumps out of the tower with the horse, completely fake.
No shit.
It's a fucking rubber horse. Okay? It's funny. All right. It's just there's several instances of stuff like that that are pretty blatant in this movie that I kind of feel like, that just cost you 5 stars.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway.
R2 said there's a car in the background of one of the battles.
Nice.
Did you see that?
I did
I
not
did
see
notice
that.
that.
I
I'll see if I can
didn't
find it.
notice
So they actually had to reshoot a great deal of battle footage because a lot of the extras were wearing like their watches and like sunglasses and stuff.
Oh, yeah. See, that's the shit.
Carrying their Starbucks cups.
Yeah, like Charlie went out and started his own company because he saw that kind of shit. He's like, well, there's a market for, they need people in the background who take their job seriously. And that's how he created his company. It's very successful and he's done a ton of awesome movies. So I like, now that I know him and now he's told me these kind of things, a little bit of behind the scenes stuff, now I can't help but see it. So that kind of knocks this movie down a little bit off its pedestal. But it's still a great movie. Like the story itself is great. The acting is great. Mel Gibson is awesome when he does his speeches. I think in the ranking of inspiring army speeches, this is top notch.
I mean, that speech has made it into the zeitgeist of society.
Yeah.
Where basically everyone knows
100%.
they may take our lives, but they'll never take
our freedom.
And
Like,
also directing and starring in something is no small feat.
yeah, exactly. There's so many good things to talk about this movie. I love the royals that he has to deal with. Like Wallace is a fundamental, like, I'm here to do X, Y, and Z. And if you're in my way, I don't give a shit about you. You're just a nuisance. And like these nobles that he has to deal with, these Scottish nobles who are just like in it for themselves, and he has to constantly bicker back and forth.
I
Like,
hate those guys.
yeah, like they
dicks.
make them so like unlikable in this movie, even though they're supposed to be on his side. Like these scenes where they're like, well, there's a great scene where they're squabbling over who's going to become the king of Scotland, right? Oh, we're gonna defeat the English, and we're gonna have to elect a king for ourselves. And Wallace is sitting there; he's the obvious choice, but they're all just too busy fighting over their own egos.
My favorite.
And he just turns around and walks away.
And he's like, you guys can't work together.
Yeah.
So what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite part of this movie, one of the favorite parts, I don't know if it's my favorite part, but when he just starts straight up murdering the Scottish lords.
After they
'cause
bail
they're
on him, right?
Dicks.
Yeah.
And they all deserve it, is like my favorite part.
Yeah. So there's a scene where
So-
the King of England comes to fight William Wallace and his army. And William Wallace has his nobles. He's got 2 nobles that have like cavalry, and it's like a good majority of his army.
Wait till we negotiate.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you,
Fuck
when you're
you, dude.
negotiating.
So like
It's like,
they start battling it out, and then Wallace is like, okay, when I wave the flag, you guys come in and flank them and help us out. And they just bail.
Yeah.
And the king is like, well, I gave them more land and some extra money. And like, it's just complete betrayal.
Yeah, they played the Game of Thrones and Wallace lost.
Yeah.
But you know what? We need to go to the beginning.
Let's go to the beginning.
We need to start this movie, and talk about this movie from the beginning to the end.
Take it away. What about the beginning do you want to talk about?
I mean, come on, man. It's I mean, William Wallace, we start this movie as he's a child. He's like 8 years old, right? 9 years old. And we start with him sneaking along with his brother and his dad. They don't know he's there. They kind of know he's there, but they really don't because they told him to leave.
Yeah.
But they go into this meeting with the nobles and Longshanks's boys, and they all get murdered.
It was a trap.
It was a trap.
Yeah.
Because
it was a dark scene. When that kid walks into that hut and they're all just hanging there.
Dark.
Yeah. And then one of them is like a kid, like his age.
Yeah.
And then was it a dream where the kid like wakes up and looks at him, or was that like a vision or something like that? I think it happened with William. But yeah, it was really dark. Really dark. And it kind of sets up like
sets up the tone.
Yeah, it sets up the tone. It sets up how ruthless Longshanks is. But I have to say, like, as much of a dick as Longshanks is in this movie, he's also hilarious.
Is he?
The way
hilarious?
The way he treats his kid and the way he just talks so much shit.
Well, his kid's like a big flamer.
And then so just the whole situation with Longshanks being like, I have to send you to take my place. Like, fuck.
It's like, I'm going to have to bang your wife just to have an heir myself.
Yeah.
Because you're certainly not going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what's his advisor, like Philip or something, I think his name was, or something like that.
The princess?
No, the prince's like buddy.
Yeah, I made Philip my advisor.
Yeah, I made Philip my advisor. Oh, really? Tell me about your...
Come over here, Philip.
Yeah.
Let's chat by the window.
Yeah.
Well, but that's like at the end of the movie, man. That's
I know,
like,
sorry. We're skipping.
We're really skipping ahead.
We're skipping ahead.
Yeah.
So what about the beginning? What else did you want to talk? I love the scene, the rock scene that you mentioned before.
They
awesome.
set up the whole movie at the beginning with the kid, you know, and you know, it's something. The way they set his character up from being a child to where his father and his brother die, and then his uncle comes along and takes him away. Well, his uncle, as small a part as he had in this movie, it kind of sets up William Wallace's character because he takes him away and he educates him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the whole scene where he's like, first you need to learn this.
Yes. Oh, I love that scene. Yeah.
And then I'll teach you this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you need to be head smart before you're sword smart.
You need to be brain smart.
You need to know what the world's really like.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing that separates William Wallace from all these other local yokels. You know.
Yeah. Well, he's educated. He's well traveled and he's educated.
Right.
And that was the one thing that his uncle brought to the table that I think was really fun, and it was really cool, interesting situation where he's like, okay, you're gonna come with me and you're going to do X, Y, and Z. And he's like, do you understand what the priest was saying at your father's funeral? And the kid's like, no, I don't speak. He was speaking in Latin. And he's like, you don't understand Latin? And then he says that famous line, which comes back later. Well, we'll have to remedy that situation. And it's a cool little callback. It's a nice little moment.
It plays it plays through the whole movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and it reaps its rewards because he's understanding what these shitbag advisors to the king are saying to the princess.
Oh, that was a great moment too.
And you know, it's like nobody's getting one up on William Wallace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So Jude, I feel like this is like a dude movie. So do you enjoy this movie as much as we do? Okay.
I don't know if I enjoy it as much as you do. But I enjoy this movie. And I remember when this came out and I saw it in the theater and how big it was, you know? Like, I mean, it was 1995 and this was like a big deal. It was a really good movie. And I remember vividly, I was telling Kadish this when we were watching it, like, so I've worked in spas most of my adult career. And at the time that this came out, I worked in a hair salon and I just did nails like in the corner of the salon next to like all the hairdressers. And I would always like talk to my clients about movies that I watched. Like for 100 years, I've been talking about movies.
Right.
And the girl that did hair next to my nail station, she was like, I haven't seen that movie yet. And you just ruined the whole thing because you told your client about it. Stop talking about movies all the time. And I told my clients, like all of my clients that whole day, every single, like the entire movie. Like I gave them all the synopsis of every single thing that happened in the movie all day long for 10 hours.
That's awesome. Right on. Kadish, what's your history with this movie?
So I was in high school when this movie came out and I was actually working at a movie theater. And we played this movie in the theater I worked at. So I got to see it probably like 5-6 times. in the theater, and this is like a 3-hour movie. So like,
That's long.
That's quite a commitment. But at the time, like I was kind of gearing up to go to film school and all this other stuff. And Mel Gibson, when he released this movie, this was the second movie he'd ever directed, the first really big budget one. The first movie he directed was called Man Without a Face, which he also starred in. But that was just kind of like one of those movies where it's just like, I don't care, it's not cool. But like this movie was cool. And it's kind of interesting because, the action scenes in this movie for a first-time director are very advanced. And Mel Gibson actually pulled a lot from his experience working with George Miller on the Mad Max movies to figure out how to pace the action scenes, when to use slow motion. He created this technique where moments of impact with swords or weapons or whatever, they would cut like a single frame out. And so it'd have this slightly jarring effect when you watched it, because there'd just be this slight jump cut in there that would kind of accentuate the hit. And so there was a lot of stuff in this movie that was actually really advanced and really amazing. This is the first Mel Gibson movie to win Oscars for his direction. I think it's the only one. But one of the more interesting aspects to this movie is how historically inaccurate it is.
Yeah.
And one of the funny things is that there's not a whole lot of historical record about William Wallace, so they had a lot of leeway with which to play with. But there are certain things, for instance, the Prince Edward, the gay character.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of historians kind of agree that that the rumor that he was homosexual was spread by his enemies as a way to kind of undermine him, where in reality, he had numerous kids throughout the course of his life. Princess Isabel, during the time of the Scottish Rebellion, was 9 years old, and,
Oh, God.
and that's the age at which she married the prince. But of course, they couldn't consummate the marriage because she was so young. But it was a marriage of political alliance. Mm-hmm. And also at the time of William Wallace's rebellion, William Wallace was in his 20s. And Mel Gibson was in his 40s when he was playing this part. And that was the only way that the studio would agree to finance the picture was if Mel Gibson starred in it. And so because he was pulling double duty, Mel Gibson would do 2 or 3 takes, and he'd be like, that's good enough. And then then he'd go back to focusing on directing the rest of the movie. And it was just a really interesting thing. In fact, I saw an interview with Tommy Flanagan really recently, he's the guy with the Glasgow smile.
Chibs from Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, that guy. And he plays the guy whose wife is taken at the beginning of the movie.
During their wedding ceremony.
Yeah.
Reception.
Yeah, he's the groom. And originally he was just cast for that role. He was going to be there for a week to shoot that scene. And Mel Gibson liked him so much that he just kept putting him in more scenes. And he ended up being there for 6 weeks or something like that, shooting scenes. And you see him in the background. And later on, he gets his revenge on the guy who basically raped his wife.
It was so fucked up. That scene where the English lord was I treated her well. It was within my rights. And no, dude.
You die.
You're dead. And the dude comes up. He's
Absolutely.
oh, I'm exercising my right as the husband. And he freaking just, I love it.
I think that's the scenes at the beginning, in the first third of the movie, where William Wallace and his crew take out the garrison, and then the Lord. Those are my 2 favorite scenes in the movie, and I don't really know why, but they are. It's just he was so intense.
They feel the most, I think, justified.
I know everybody thinks that the battle scenes probably would be my favorite scenes, but the scenes where he goes up and he kills the fort and then the Lord, those are my favorite scenes because there's so much emotion that he exudes from not saying anything.
Oh, that whole scene where he's on the horse.
When he goes up to the fort.
Dead quiet. No,
that was a crazy, intense, emotional scene.
Mm-hmm.
You just killed my wife, motherfucker. Yeah. And it's just and nobody knows it's his wife.
And even
it's crazy.
Even after he gets his revenge, right? And he puts that guy up against the post, and he slits his throat, and the dude just falls. There's a moment where everybody there is
oh shit.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And when the body falls, it hits Mel Gibson, and he just doesn't move.
Shrugs it off. Yeah.
Shrugs it off.
Yeah.
There are actually 2 things I want to point out about this movie, though. The first is that Matt Vader has a certain standard with which to judge movies called the trifecta. Do you want to explain what the trifecta is, Vader?
I do know what the trifecta is. So, boobs, which I guess there's a brief scene with some boobs, and a rape scene, and midgets. They're definitely, all three of those things are in this movie. But
but you're basically, those form the trifecta, which to you makes a perfect movie.
Well, yeah, I guess. Okay.
and not only does this movie have the trifecta in it, because it has boobs, rape, and midgets.
I mean,
it won the Academy Award. So this is probably the only Academy Award winner that actually has the trifecta.
With the trifecta.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, sure.
I feel like the humor of the trifecta is wearing off a little bit.
It is a little bit with this movie. It doesn't really work with this movie. It's not really like,
it's a Death Stalker thing.
It's not the Creeps where all three of those things were happening.
Oh my God, the Creeps. You guys remember that movie?
Oh, yes, I do.
Oh my God.
We still need that poster in the studio.
Yes,
I don't really know.
But I get what you're saying. It does have the trifecta, but it doesn't have it at the same time.
In the same way.
It's not the same. It's like, those things are all hard to laugh at. When you can laugh at all three of those things at the same time, that's different. But I wasn't laughing at any of those things in this movie.
This is way too heavy.
This is a heavy movie.
It's too heavy to have that.
Mel Gibson's well known for his heavy movies and long run times.
For sure.
But the second thing I wanted to point out, and this goes towards Jude, is that there are like 4 or 5 actors in this movie that also appear in the Harry Potter films.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I want to see if I can guess one of them. Was one of them his uncle?
No.
No. I don't know who the other ones would be.
No, his uncle was played by Brian Cox, but Brendan Gleeson, who plays Hamish, his best friend.
Oh, yeah.
He was Mad Eye Moody.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Hamish is Mad Eye Moody.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Alex has no idea what we're talking
That is wild.
No idea. I know who Hamish is.
They don't look nothing alike.
Yeah.
It is weird.
Yeah, I love Hamish.
That's the same dude?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Who else?
That's
And
crazy.
I forget exactly the names, but there were like 4 or 5 guys who
I
were
gotta
in
look it
Harry
up
Potter.
now.
I love stuff like that. The connection.
Yeah.
He's the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Hamish might be my favorite character in this movie.
Oh, for sure.
He's awesome.
I like his dad better.
His dad's, I love how everybody is terrified of his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I love the Irish guy.
And he also gets
it's my island.
like terribly wounded in every battle scene.
Yes. His dad?
Yeah,
because he gets shot in the chest with an arrow in the first one. Then he gets sliced open in one of them. And then he gets his hand cut off. Yeah.
And then the final one, he dies.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of funny because also when he comes back with William Wallace's father, he's got like all types of wounds on him too. So like he always gets messed up.
He's always crazy in all these battle scenes. Let's talk about the Irish guy because he's the comedic relief almost in this movie. Like this movie's very heavy. It's very dark.
It's my island.
But that dude is freaking hilarious.
He talks to God.
Yeah, he talks to God. He's like, "Are you conversing with the Almighty?" He's like, "Well, an Irishman has to if he wants to find his equal." It's so
you don't
funny,
need
dude.
to worry about the Irish.
Those are my people. It's my island. It's so funny. And then that battle scene, that was a great kind of like a switch. Is like when Longshanks shows up with the Irish conscripts and they're going to go fight the Scottish people. And then they run towards each other in the battlefield. And then they stop and they're like, like, I've been missing you, bro. That's awesome. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's a nice little flip around. And then the way that William Wallace kind of like plays the battlefield and like uses everything to his advantage and creates the big spears to take on the cavalry. Like the way he just runs his show is it's so much fun to watch. And Longshanks is just constantly underestimating him.
Well, the funny thing about the battle scenes is that originally they were far more graphic than what was in the final film. And Mel Gibson actually had to go back and cut a bunch of stuff out to avoid an NC-17 rating. The initial cut of the battle scenes was like far grittier. And also his initial cut of the movie was something like 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Is there a director's cut version of this?
I don't think there is,
but watch it.
But basically like at a 3 hour, 15 minute runtime, like no theater is going to show a movie. Mm-hmm. And so Sherry Lansing, who was like the executive in charge of the studio at the time, came in and gave Mel Gibson a bunch of notes about what to cut out of the movie. And at first Mel Gibson was like, this bitch telling me what to cut out of my movie, like, fuck her. But then like he went back into the editing room and he was like, yeah, you know what, she's kind of right. So like he was able to trim about like 17 minutes out of the film to get it to its final like below 3-hour runtime. And that was like the bare minimum that like the studio or a theater chain would need in order to like, you know, play this movie. Because anything over 3 hours, like you're just not going to get enough showings in a day in order to, you know, make any money. So it's important to hit that under 3-hour mark.
Jude, how long do you think it would take Mel Gibson to put his extensions in for this movie?
Actually, it was a wig.
That is a mane. That thing is huge. I love it. It's hilarious. Every time I saw it and I was watching this movie and I'm like, he's just having normal conversations with people and I'm like, what is going on with his hair?
Yeah.
It's so big.
Yeah,
Typically,
He does have big hair.
Typically, a full head of extensions will take at least 3 hours.
He also refused to grow a beard for the role because William Wallace was known to have like a big old beard.
That's weird, right?
That is a weird thing to not want to do. Why would you not want to?
What would Mel Gibson look like with a? He has a beard.
He has a
He's
beard
had
now.
Beard before.
Yeah, he's got a great
Batman.
beard.
Yeah, that's strange.
It's very strange.
Huh. I don't know, man.
It's like, you're going to cover up this baby face? I don't think so.
All I know is
Look at that smile. Who wouldn't fall for him?
I've had a crush on Mullen since this movie came out.
Yeah,
She is so pretty. And yeah.
she's got that girl next door look.
She does.
The girl in the hut next door.
She really does.
I like her father.
I mean,
Her dad?
Yeah. Her
Did-
dad's
is-
like, you can't court my daughter.
Yeah.
for
I can't? No.
No?
for
No.
1200
Go ahead.
for 1200 BC or whatever, or AD or whatever the hell it was. You know, she's got really good teeth.
She
You
does
know,
have nice teeth.
She's got really nice teeth, nice
Yeah.
hair, and you know, she's just smoking hot. I really love her.
So,
And she's pretty and got a nice voice, and I don't know what else to say. She's just, I like
You're
her, man.
very enamored if
Yeah.
you talk about
I
a woman's
know.
voice.
It's like she's very, and she has an angelic voice to her. I love her.
So the character of Longshanks, the King
Great
of England,
actor. Yeah.
Mel Gibson was going hard after Sean Connery to play that role.
Ooh.
But unfortunately, Sean Connery was committed to a movie called Just Cause that he was committed to at the time. And so like he couldn't do this movie. But I think it would have been awesome if Sean Connery had been in this.
That would have been great.
I don't know, man. I don't think I could see anybody else than what.
He's
This
so
guy-
snivy
I mean,
and evil.
The problem is Scotland.
This is
that
full of
it's
Scots.
It's like, yeah, I mean, how iconic is that line, right?
Did
I mean,
Sean Connery play villains?
I don't know. Does he?
Yeah, I
Not
know
really,
he
right?
doesn't
I
anymore,
can't.
But
Yeah.
I can't see Sean Connery playing a bad guy.
Well, he has a very heavy and distinct
Yeah.
Scottish accent, right?
Right.
he's
So-
an Egyptian
Can't have a
Spaniard.
Scot.
He's an Egyptian
You
Spaniard.
can't have a
Can't have a Scot play an English king.
No,
I don't think that would have worked.
No.
I can understand why he would want
I
that.
could see him playing one of like the lords in Edinburgh,
Mm.
but
Robert the Bruce.
Robert the Bruce.
Oh,
I love that dude. That dude is so
a lot
good.
of Scots were really upset with how Robert the Bruce was portrayed in this
Really?
movie.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
a punce in this movie. He betrayed him. He's just like, his dad, his freaking diseased dad is over there like, this is how you play the
He's got
game,
the
son.
leprosy, right?
Yeah,
Something, yeah.
there's actually a movie on Netflix with Matt Damon called The Wayward King, I think it is, which is like more accurate, historically accurate version of the Robert the Bruce story.
I'm gonna name drop Charlie Allen again. He said the best movie he actually worked on this one is with Chris Pine called The Outlaw King.
That's what it was. Chris Pine. with The
Yeah,
Outlaw
Chris
King.
Pine and The Outlaw King said that is a great, and it's fairly historically accurate, and Chris Pine's accent, Scottish accent, is actually on point in that movie. So, coming from a Scot who worked on the movie, he said he was proud to work on that one. So,
Do you guys remember any of the controversy that surrounded this film when it came out?
I don't remember
I
when this
don't.
movie came
There
out.
was controversy.
Yeah.
So there were two organizations that came hard after Mel
Oh,
Gibson.
God.
The first one was an animal rights organization who believed that the horses in the movie were mistreated.
Oh, they were fake.
Well, they actually had to show them behind the scenes footage of like the fake horses to convince them that no horses were harmed in this movie.
Like literally rubber horses. Okay.
But they made a huge stink out of it, man. Like they were like so many animals were hurt during the making of this
Oh
movie.
my God.
And Mel Gibson was like, man, we didn't even have an injury on set with like the humans.
That one scene where he comes out of the tower,
Yeah,
the
and he just-
horse is so blatantly fake. It's like its legs are all, it's so funny. It's like
There's a scene.
I keyed in immediately on that one. I was watching this yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Some of the effects don't hold up.
So bad. It was like half star off.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
And the second big controversy was from like the LGBT community who basically
because of the
basically
prince?
didn't like how the prince was portrayed in the film. And in fact, like they made such a stink out of it that Mel Gibson had to host like a gays in film talk and like support them with like some type of like financial contribution or something
I
like
do
that.
remember that
That's
actually.
ludicrous.
Seems a bit off, doesn't
Seems
it?
a bit weird.
Well, they said that the portrayal of gayness in the film was insulting because like the guy was.
Why? Because it was accurate.
The guy was like sniveling and like very effeminate and
God.
incompetent and all this other stuff. They're like, that's such a stereotype, and so like they came
But,
after.
but it's not. I mean, I know
Straight people can be sniveling idiots
Yeah.
too. It's like, well, you know what? I don't like this character who plays the Lord because he's an asshole.
Yeah.
He just so happens to be an English white guy. That's insulting to English white people. Like, come on, bro. Just chill. It's a fucking movie. All right, what do you guys think about the ending? The ending, I think, is
Are we going
probably
to the ending?
Yeah, might as well.
What?
The torture scene.
Oh, Jesus.
This is heavy shit.
So okay, so I'll tell you my thoughts on the torture scene. So I it's been probably 10 years or so since I watched this movie, and for some reason in my head, this ending scene where he gets drawn and quartered
Mhm.
was way worse in my brain than it ended up being in the movie.
It's pretty mild
It's
compared to the battle scenes.
It's pretty mild
Yeah.
compared to what, for some reason, I remembered it way
Well,
different.
in the original cut of the movie, it was very graphic. Like it actually showed you pulling his intestines out.
Yeah.
It showed them pulling his intestines out. And one of the things that got cut in for the final cut of the film was they were like, we're going to take out a lot of this gore to avoid the NC-17. And so like a lot of it's kind of left to your imagination, which in a way makes it worse in that scene.
I can understand that. It is a very dark scene though, but I don't know, man. It's just intense, and I can appreciate Mel Gibson's performance during that part, and the famous cry at the end, "Freedom!"
Oh yeah,
as it gets intercut with Longshanks dying, like as this tyrant is dying.
Oh, and the way the
man-
princess owns
Oh, it was
Longshanks
so good.
as he's dying.
Just so you know, your line ends with your son.
And it's
Because
just
I wish she just would have said,
there's the cherry on the top.
there's somebody else's baby growing to me, but she said I wish she would have said that William Wallace's baby is growing inside my womb right now.
And she
That would've been
specifically
awesome.
waited until he lost the ability to
couldn't
communicate.
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah,
It's a great ending.
That was the ultimate girl boss moment in this movie.
Yeah. She I think she got portrayed very well in this movie too.
Yeah.
And plus Sophie Marceau is just gorgeous.
Yeah,
Super
absolutely.
In fact, Jude was obsessed with her hair.
Super
With whose
long,
hair?
right?
The princess's hair.
Yeah.
The one that goes down to like the back of her knees.
Yeah,
Goes down to the bottom.
The
of
assistant or the actual princess?
The actual princess.
Oh,
the
okay.
actual princess, Sophie Marceau.
the
I like-
the princess.
I liked how her
Jude was like, I could never be a princess because I can't grow my hair that long.
You could. Why couldn't you? You could do
My
that.
hair doesn't grow like that.
it's good. It's got humor. It's got like brutality. It's got a great message. This movie's awesome.
That-
I freaking love this movie.
It's a timeless movie.
Yeah, it's not historically accurate, but
Yeah.
it's more entertaining.
My favorite moment with Hamish is at the wedding where they have the rock throwing contest.
Yes.
And Mel Gibson throws the tiny rock and hits him in the head. And when he
Oh, yeah.
when he helps Hamish back up, Hamish is like,
I should
I
have.
should have no. He's like, I should have remembered the rocks.
Oh, you should.
Because like when they were kids, they would throw rocks and stuff.
Yeah.
And Mel Gibson's like, yeah, you probably should have moved.
That's good stuff. My favorite scene is the one that we're watching right now, is when he comes back to get revenge
Yep.
for his wife's death. I think that's probably the
Ditto.
most emotionally impactful and also brutal fight scene in the movie. And I don't know, I just get amped every time when he's coming out there on the freaking horse and he puts his hands up and it's just like he's got that freaking the shark eyes.
The build up to him growing his army was far better to me than the second half of the movie.
Yeah.
It just got my hooks. It gets its hooks in you.
Yeah.
When you learn what motivated him,
Mhm.
you know,
I agree.
it's much better.
Well, the Battle of Stirling, which is the one where like he shows up on the horse and he's got like the face paint on and stuff like that, and gives the famous speech. That's like one of the most iconic scenes from this film, and it's kind of funny because this film got heavily criticized in Scotland because basically there was a bridge at the Battle of Stirling
Yeah.
where you could funnel people like onto the bridge, so like the numbers didn't matter as much. And Mel Gibson in a interview said like, oh well, we couldn't make it historically accurate because the bridge at Stirling got in the way of the battle, and the guy interviewing him is like, the English learned that too.
Yeah, that was the one thing that Charlie said, is like the battle scenes are nonsense. Like they're not historically accurate, but it's still a fun movie.
It's still a fun movie.
Yeah, still a fun movie.
I want to know if the blue face paint is accurate. Is that real?
I think it's accurate.
It's real in your heart,
but not,
because you know what I want to do? I just like want to leave this on. Because I got blue shit on my face right now. Like
the grocery
all
store.
Four of us do. I do. I want to go out to dinner with us wearing this tonight with my wife.
And anyone who looks at you just go, Freedom!
Freedom! Yeah, for sure.
And they bring you the check for dinner. Freedom!
It kind of reminds me of when I dressed up as Santa Claus for my wife's work one time.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. And I had my car, but it was a convertible at the time, and it's December in Las Vegas, so it's 85 degrees outside, right? Yeah. So I'm driving home, right? And I had this fucking full ass Santa Claus outfit on with the beard and the hat and everything, and people are like, "Yo, Santa, what's up, bro?" It's just like, and I'm at the stoplight, hey, all right, it's like I want to go home. I think I'm gonna wear this shit home.
All right, do it.
I'm gonna see if I get any replies.
Take a video of your wife's reaction.
What are your choices? You kind of have to wear it home.
Or I can like use your washcloths and wipe it off here.
Okay, you can have a washcloth. You can't have my facial cleansers.
But I love wearing face paint. It's fun.
Anyway, I think the face paint is accurate to a point, but I don't think it lines up with when this movie is supposed to take place. Neither does kilts. Kilts weren't a thing.
There weren't kilts in 1200 AD.
No, that came out. That came out later.
AD, right? Whatever.
Yes, AD.
It's like
this is not before Christ.
Before Death Star or after Death Star?
Before the Battle of Yavin?
BY.
Nerd. All right.
Who are you talking to?
Just before the Death Star or after the Death Star?
Oh, shit. All right, let's do final thoughts. Give it a rating. Vader. Braveheart.
Oh, man. Braveheart.
It's not a 5-star because of the rubber horse.
It's not a 5-star. No, I can't give it a 5-star.
But it's got a half star for boobs.
But, listen, one of my favorite movies ever. Mm-hmm. I go out of my way to watch this movie on a semi-regular basis. It's been a while, probably 10 years, but it's been a busy 10 years. But before that, I watched it on a yearly basis. I've probably seen this movie 20, 25 times. And I was really kind of happy we were revisiting this week. Mm-hmm. This is the only movie this week that I was really happy rewatched. But I don't regret watching the other Mel Gibson movies because they were both good too. But this movie is easily a 4-star movie for me. This movie is special to me. It definitely holds a coveted place in my movie pantheon of favorites. No, it's not a 5-star. It's aging okay. It's not aging well, but it's aging okay. If you get what I'm saying, the rubber horses and the dipshits in the background of the battle scenes, kind of fucking clicking their sticks together and dicking around. Yeah. Kind of like takes me out of it a little bit. I love the characters in this movie. I love Mullen. I love Hamish. I love, William Wallace. I mean, after this movie came out, everybody decided they were Scottish. Not joking. Look at us. Not joking.
It's some podcast.
It's like I got a little bit of Scottish in me. I'm part of the clan Elliot. That was my grandmother's maiden name, Elliot. We have an actual clan in the Scottish lowlands where, I have a tartan and all this kind of shit.
No shit.
But, I'm like probably 1/120th Scottish.
I've had several Scots in me.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, right. I'm also 36 Cherokee. So, whatever. I'm a Heinz 57. But when this movie came out, everybody claimed their Scottish heritage, right? You know what I'm saying? And it was kind of cool that way. All of a sudden, every city in the country had a Scottish Highlands Festival, including my stupid little town back home in old Southern Oregon. 4 stars, super fun movie. It's a special movie. Everybody should watch it. If you haven't seen this, you're denying yourself a good time.
Okay.
So yeah.
Jude, you've been pretty quiet for this whole movie. What's your thoughts on it?
I agree with a lot of what Vader just said. It's definitely worth a watch. It's a classic. It's a good watch. I don't think I love it as much as you guys do, but I appreciate the movie that it was, and especially when it first came out, it was a really big deal. Has it aged well? Sure. Yeah. But I don't go bananas over this movie. Like if it's playing in the background, I never need to sit down and just pay attention to it. I could just kind of have it on in the background.
It's like if you have any testosterone in your body at all, you should like this movie.
Okay. So yeah, for me, it's probably 4 freedoms out of 5 freedoms.
Okay.
Fist bump.
4 out of 5. Kadish?
All right, so this is Mel Gibson's masterpiece. It is the best film that he's ever made. It's his most iconic role. The battle scenes are amazing. It's an Oscar winner. It's got the trifecta in it. It's a very well written, well structured, well directed movie. It has made its way into the cultural zeitgeist. There's so many good things to say about this movie. I don't really need to go over them again. This is 5 stars. This is a 5-star movie.
Whoa.
This is Mel Gibson's, masterpiece.
I know it's your turn, but to me, right, Mel Gibson's iconic role is Max.
Right.
Okay, but that's just me. So
Well, for like his best movie that he directed,
but
for me, it's
his
Apocalypto.
directing, okay,
Apocalypto is a masterpiece.
yeah.
I love this movie.
You're wrong. You're just incorrect.
I love this movie, but I think Apocalypto is a better movie.
That's an exhausting movie. Jesus Christ.
This could be pretty exhausting too.
Yeah.
If it wasn't so funny.
Didn't you say watching Apocalypto made you lose 10 pounds?
I did. I lost 10 pounds. If I need to lose 100 pounds, I just gonna watch that movie 10 days in a row. I'll be good.
You should put the freedom speech on when you right before you work out, and just listen to Mel Gibson freaking talk some mad shit.
You know what? That reminds me. The soundtrack for this movie, the musical score, is top 5 ever. It's a really good.
Oh yeah, they've reused it in like numerous trailers and movies and stuff.
It's up there with Star Wars for me personally.
It's
so good.
You can
so
take
emotional.
the blue face paint home with you if you need to feel powerful at home.
Oh, I'm gonna kill some people on my drive home. Absolutely. I'm going to drive through fucking Anthem and kill some of those white suburbanite people. It's like, you rich bastards. Yeah, so.
Take your axe.
Gonna sleep with their wives.
Yes. No. Fuck yeah. Prima nocta. Hell yeah. What a fucked up thing.
That is a fucked up thing.
That is a fucked up thing.
That was actually something that was never used historically.
No.
Like that was something that existed, but no one ever invoked it.
Man.
But for the movie, they did.
Hold on. Wasn't that where the word fuck comes from? Is fornicate under
For
the command
unlawful
of king?
carnage, for unlawful carnal knowledge is what fuck means.
Fully unlawful carnal knowledge.
Yeah,
Really?
But the word existed way before that.
Yeah.
I
thought it was fornicate under king's
fornicate under consent of the king.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that's where that came from.
Yeah.
I'm going to fuck your wife.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think they had
that asshole,
right?
It's like, I'm going to come and bang your wife. It is my special privilege as lord of these lands. It's like, no, bro. You're just like, no, you're dead. I'm gonna cut your cock off. It's just like, no, dude.
Yeah, like historically, like if you want to try to rule an unruly populace, fucking their wives is usually not a good idea.
No,
which is why it was never like really invoked.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Seems like a really bad idea. All right, let's polish this off. Thanks, everybody. This is a 4.5 star movie for me.
4.5?
4.5.
Okay.
4.5.
9 out of 10.
Almost.
Was Apocalypto 5 for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
Yep.
You're wrong.
All right. That's fine. I'm allowed to be wrong once in a while. Thanks, everybody, for watching the show. We really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the Mel Gibson week. We had a lot of fun talking about these movies. Thanks for joining us. Comment below what your favorite Mel Gibson movie is, whether he directed it or not. I'm just curious. Comment below. Let us know. Vader, where can they find you on the socials?
You can find me at Matt Vader 74 on the Twitter and the YouTube and the Instagram, and right here at saltynerd.com.
All right.
Every week.
Jude?
You can find me at I am Jude Juju on Instagram and on TikTok.
All right. Matthew Kadish.
You can find me at Matthew Kadish, Kadish on Twitter. KadishBooks.com takes you to my Amazon page where you can check out my books. And if you'd be so kind as to sign up for saltylist.com, that's our newsletter. We'd love to have you on there. And we put out our newsletters every week telling you what we're up to.
All right, you guys can find me taking my face paint off on Discord. Go to saltynerd.discord.com and come join the community. It's really fun. We have over 200 people in there chatting, and we do watch parties and all kinds of really cool stuff. We'd love to have you.
This face paint stinks.
It does smell like clay.
It does. I want to get it off.
I'm wearing it home. I can't wait.
Okay.
All right, everybody, have a great one. Stay salty.